So I would like to go ahead and introduce two of our presenters today in order of presentation. So the first one we have is Emil Hein. She is a physics instructor at Skyline College in San Bruno, California. So extensive math experience, and I'm really looking forward to MyOpenMath. I tried it on my own. It was challenging, so I'm excited to see somebody actually who has expertise in MyOpenMath. And then we also have Christina Moon, ESL instructor, right? I'm going off the top of my head.
Spanish, actually.
Spanish, sorry. Christina and I have been at too many meetings, and I know that it's definitely something that was non-English related out of Chabot College. I believe you are also the OERI lead for your institution as well.
That's correct.
So welcome to our facilitators. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Antoinette Eison. I am a faculty member at Madera Community College. I am also our OERI lead. So if you are primarily Madera, if you have any questions regarding OER, you would contact me. Unfortunately, today our other facilitators of OER at our district could not make it. We have Stephanie Kaufman out of Clovis Community College, Sally Potter out of Fresno City College, and Amanda Tainter out of Reedley College. All right, with that said, Emily, if you want to go ahead and get started.
Great. Well, thank you for the introduction, and thank you so much for having us today. Always excited to talk about MyOpenMath. And as you said, I think there can be the sort of initial shock, and it can look intimidating, but hopefully after today, some of you feel like it would be a good platform for you to use. So I'm going to go ahead and share some slides, and then we'll move on to the platform. So here we go. If you could let me know if you're all seeing this. Yep. All right. Awesome. So I am a physics instructor, meaning that, I think usually we think of, or if we've ever heard about MyOpenMath, as a more of a math platform. And it is definitely amazing for if you're a math faculty. But as it turns out, my department, so physics department at Skyline, was really looking for a free homework platform that would be easy to adopt. And we looked at a number of options at the time. So this was back in 2019, which, feels like forever ago because there was a whole, that whole COVID thing that happened. But at the time, we explored a number of options. And we've our whole department has adopted MyOpenMath since, and it's been actually a fairly smooth transition. We were able also to work with other departments over a number of districts to develop content because we had already adopted OpenStax physics, college physics, and university physics in our courses. So the idea was to create assignments that would work well along with the OpenStax textbook. So I'll walk you through kind of an overview for today of what you can do with MyOpenMath, what is really really great in terms of the power that it can give in terms of like specifically more towards, I would say, STEM courses, because a lot of the those kind of hard to type math equations and things like that are actually fairly easy to get done through this platform, which is why we had decided to adopt it. So in later sessions, we'll go more into depth in how you can code your own problems and the types of problems that you can, you can use through this platform. And so far, it's been difficult to find something we couldn't do with it. So anyway, I'm really excited to share this with you today. And again, if you have any questions as we go, please feel free to interrupt. It's not really an interruption. Happy to answer any questions you have on the spot. So, and I think I can monitor the chat too, but if you see something, please, yeah, let me know. So let's see, here we go. So again, today's goals are sort of, doing an overview of what is MyOpenMath and who may want to use MyOpenMath and getting started to get a sense of what we can do. And then in later sessions, we'll go more into the coding and things like that. So if you have never heard about MyOpenMath, which was essentially me back in 2019, before I started looking at platforms, and I think I had actually heard about it, but it was really used by math faculty, at least that I knew at the time. And so just this is from their website. MyOpenMath is designed for mathematics, providing delivery of homework, quizzes, and tests with rich mathematical content. Right, so this was really built for math, but that means that in disciplines like physics or engineering, chemistry, etc., that means we have a tool that we can definitely use. Students can receive immediate feedback on algorithmically generated questions with numerical or algebraic expression answers. So again, you get sort of that online homework platform feedback, like we see with a lot of other platforms and also through Canvas directly. And with a lot of platforms, including Canvas, which we had started with Canvas, but we did run into some issues there, which was why we were exploring other options. But again, entering the math, and we'll see like in even things like drawing vectors and things like that is something that you can do in this platform fairly easily. Right, and you can do so much more, providing a full course management system, including file posting, discussion forums, and a full gradebook, all designed with mathematics in mind. So again, if you're a math faculty, amazing platform. It was built for you. However, if you are not a math faculty, but you see a lot of potential for some of these tools, and that's what we saw, that's definitely something that is amazing for a lot of STEM disciplines. So sort of like if you're a math faculty, then amazing, because also you'll see that there's a lot of content that's already been developed for MyOpenMath for math, but we see more and more other disciplines represented as well. And there's quite a bit, at least for physics. So if you're a physics faculty, like me, you'll find also, and I've been helping out as discipline lead for physics, people who are currently integrating MyOpenMath in their physics courses. And again, it's been going very well. So any questions so far? All right. Okay, so when we looked for a platform, there were a few things that we were looking for specifically. So we had our checklist. So we had looked at platforms that were coming up and they were cheap but not free. And our fear with that was that, it's like it's cheaper now, but what does it look like in a year or two when it becomes more popular? So we were really looking for something that would be completely free. We also wanted something that we could integrate easily in our learning platform. So we use Canvas, so something that would work well with Canvas was another requirement. So as you can see, those two things, my open math, check, we got those check marks there. We wanted to be able to collaborate with colleagues. So again, that's something that MyOpenMath does very well because we can share our homework sets with colleagues within our department. But as it turns out, there's a whole community on MyOpenMath, and so there's like a forum and a lot of people who are there to help out, and there's also like people sharing their work, their content, which is also fabulous because again, once you're getting started, it's really, really difficult if you start from scratch. But knowing that, there may be content available already that may not be exactly what you're looking for, but maybe close. Sometimes, you'll find something that you can use as is, and you don't have to actually do any kind of coding of problems, and maybe that the resource you find is fully developed just the way that you would have done it yourself. Or it's close and you may have to tweak some things. So again, easy to share. There's a whole community there, and already a large collection. So again, for math faculty, there's so much there. And for other disciplines, again, I've seen a lot right now in astronomy and physics because that's what I look for. But I know that other disciplines have started to also use this. So that's also something that we can explore again in future sessions, depending on your interests, and trying to find what's out there in MyOpenMath for your courses. Now, if you may already have, so depending on what you've used before, it could be that you were already programming your own homework questions and problems within another platform that maybe your students had to pay for. If you've already done any kind of programming, you'll find that it will be very easy to switch to MyOpenMath if if it's just a matter of switching platforms, you'll see that they have a lot of in common, right? But this one is supported by the community and completely free, so that's the big difference. If you have never done this, that's fine because that's why we're here too. And again, there's a lot of help out there, and we can definitely help you get started. As I already mentioned, it's well documented. It's been around for math for a long time. I actually don't know how long, but there is documentation and there is a fairly large support system within the platform. And I found that people usually tend to be, really willing to help. So given all of that, we found that it was a really good platform for us, and we jumped in and found that other people were already doing so, and we connected with them and worked together to develop, whole sets of templates that are available out there for physics, and this was developed thanks to a couple of grants that we got from H5P, OERI. So this was for physics again. There was already lots of content for math. And again, for other disciplines, we can look at other options, what's out there and what are the needs right now. So I'll switch to the platform soon, but if you go to MyOpenMath, you're going to see something like this. if you have already had a chance to create an account, then at this point, this is where you would, log in. If not, if you haven't had a chance and you'd like to check it out, it's going to take a minute, but it's usually pretty quick. You want to request an instructor account over here. So, once you put in the information, now it's been a few years, so I don't remember what they asked, but it was a fairly quick process. I'm not sure that it would happen within the time of, this session. But if you're interested in joining for the next sessions, I would highly encourage you to create an account ahead of time so we can work on things together. Okay. I see some things popping up in the chat, but I don't know if those are questions or.
Oh, no, I was just posting the links to MyOpenMath and then to request for my MyOpenMath Lab instructor account.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So that would be the very first step, right? If you want to use this. And so now, depending on whether you do have an account or not, I'll show you some screenshots, and I will also navigate to MyOpenMath to show you what it looks like a bit better here. So once you log in, you'll see that you actually have access already to a training course and a support course. And I'll show you what it looks like. But just from this quick view here, you can see the forums on that section, essentially where you can go and post questions, or sometimes it's just interesting to browse because people may have already asked some questions that you're interested in, learning the answers to. So you can see that just really from the get-go, it's already guided because so from the homepage, you can access, for example, this training course. So you're automatically added to those once you create an account, and they will show up under the courses that you're taking. So if you're brand new and you want to, get a sense of, how things work, and we will do that together also, with, during our time together. But if you want to, start checking it out and figuring out like how to create a course and rearrange content and, it's already there. So it could be a good place to start once you create an account, to check out some of this. Again, it will depend on your needs. For example, I mentioned that, you can use this sort of as, a system for your course. I actually, use Canvas, and then I integrate MyOpenMath into Canvas instead. So there's some of these things that I don't use, for example, enrolling students, because my students will be in Canvas, and then they will have access to MyOpenMath through Canvas without creating an account, without logging into MyOpenMath. But it depends on how things are set up at your college, and how you also want to set things up. But just wanted to show you that already there's support right when you start, creating your account. All right. Then, I just had some screenshots just to show you, and I will share the slides also. This is in some way more to, for people who would not be here and who want to follow what we're going to do through the slides. But I'll show you in a minute directly on the platform how you can check out the existing content, create your own course. So again, you can start with a blank course. I would not necessarily recommend that the first time you do this, because it may be difficult to. I mean, this is actually a good way to start maybe a test course just to try different things. But if you're brand new, I would start with a template and with something that's already existing, because that way I know that I tend to, even when I create a new homework question, I will look at an existing one and I will modify it versus like, starting from scratch. But you can start with a blank course and then copy things over. That works too. You can copy a template. And so for physics, I have examples of templates. There are plenty for math also. If you're in another discipline, we can look for some. And you can also copy one of your existing courses. So if you're just getting started, that's not going to be super helpful. Or if you have a colleague who has a course and who wanted to share their course with you, this is another option. Okay. And we'll take a look at what it looks like, what a course looks like once you create one. This is an example. So for those of you who have an account, I created a sort of a test course, which will explore further during other sessions for those of you who want to look more into the details of how to create different types of problems and how to code them and things like that. So I just wanted to leave this here because if you did want to copy this template, uh, you know, that's something that you could do, and then we could follow along and we'll use this more later on. But I just wanted to put it out here if you already have an account and if you already want to copy this and check it out. It now has more than what is showing here. This is an old screenshot, and it shows, different types of questions, how you can do like grouping of questions, and just some samples of actual physics assignments and things like that. But we'll explore on the actual platform. But I figured instead of going between back and forth between the slides and the site, I will just go through the slide and then give you an overview directly in the platform. And we can look at, what it means, but for each course, when you create a new course, it will have a course ID, a name that you give it. And then for this, because this is also meant to share, there's this enrollment key that you can use. All right, so we can go back to this, but so what I'll do now is sort of stop sharing this and move to the platform. So give me a sec, and please feel free. This is a good time also to ask questions if you have any. And so let me navigate. I'm already logged in, but I already showed you what it would look like when you log in, so I think that's okay. So no questions so far?
I don't see any, no.
All right, so let's go to the platform. So this is my landing page, and you can actually change this. Like you can see that I've taught at this point many courses using this because it shows, courses you're teaching. And then there's the courses you're taking. So this was what I was pointing out before. There's the support course and the training course. So I can just show you what it looks like. So the support course, again, this is something that you can use once you get started and, maybe you're trying to do something specific with a question, but you haven't seen anyone do that before. You can go ahead and, you know, these are essentially forums where you're going to be able to do that. You can see that I have not checked. There's a lot of posts pretty regularly, so people are checking, and they are. It's a really nice community of people who are very knowledgeable and very much willing to help, which is, you know, it's just really nice because sometimes I think it's just seeing the potential with all of this, and just looking at having more and more courses that can be supported here. The training course was the other one that I was showing you. And again, right, it will go through some of the first step that you would want to take as you join, with a new account, MyOpenMath. So you can try to go through here, but we'll also sort of do a lot of this together. But I think it's just good to know that, there is this additional resource here. And you can always go back to that, and there is quite a bit that's already available. And this is, I think, something that's just, getting built up from just a lot of people using this over the years and finding new things that they can do. And so, there's quite a lot. So you can see this is like going into like how to write questions. And so again, not to go through this right now, but just wanted to point out that there is a lot of documentation already available. And so it makes it, pretty nice. Because it's still, once in a while, like, oh, I forget, like, what is this? And sometimes also, because this semester I have office hours for support for physics and MyOpenMath. And sometimes like, okay, well, I'm not quite sure about this one. And so, that's another resource that we can check out if we're not so sure. And yeah, usually we find the answers. Okay, so now, okay, I don't want to bore you. Like, there's so many. I just want to show you, this was the intro to my open course one that I was showing you. So again, to give you an idea of what we would be doing also during the next sessions and diving more into, creating your course, creating your questions. And we can also look into, I do have a document that I can provide, and it's already available through here about, how to do the integration into Canvas. And so sort of a quick way of like, how do we, like navigate, like create new, like a homework set or different types of assessments, how to navigate the course settings. There's a lot you can do. And I can just show you real quick, but so this was the information that I was just showing you on the slides. And there's information on how, if I wanted to integrate this into Canvas, I would need this information, and I can show you step by step how to do that during another session. And there are many more things that are available. This is just for the course settings, but we'll also see that for each assignment, you can have things like show problems that have hints, and you can decide if you want to show the hints or hide the hints, depending on if you're using the question for, let's say, homework, or if you want to put it on the test. You can add help with videos. There's just so many things that you can do that it can be overwhelming, but that's why we have some sample questions that you can, start with, and then we can go from there. So again, here, this is called exploring different types of problems. So again, this is strictly for, actually doing training on MyOpenMath versus like this is not necessarily something that you would assign to students. But we can navigate the different settings, and there are things like, how many times can students answer this question? Can they still get full credit with every attempt? Do they start losing, like 10% of the points after so many trials? You can really customize, I think, in more ways that I've ever needed to be, very honest. There's something that I don't use, but they're there. Just clicking on the question will show you the list of questions. So there's a number of things you can do, but this shows that there is, a video to help out. Again, we can during the next session look at, these are different types of questions, and we can show how they were coded. The reason this is also shared is that you can copy the question, and, if you're like, I want to use multiple answer questions, however, that's not the question I want to use. But once you have a template, it's very easy to, or it's easier, I should say, in some cases, to modify it and make it your own and make it do exactly what you want. But I know for myself, having sort of a set number of questions that showed different things that I wanted was very helpful, because I could start with the template and modify it, and just essentially not even necessarily like understanding all of the things and all the code that was around it, and just changing the question and the answers, and I had the question that I needed without necessarily understanding all of the ins and outs of the question. So
Emily,
yeah.
would you by any chance be able to hit a preview on each type of question that you have there? So a multiple choice, a ranking,
And what I
a
actually, what
question?
I can do that, what I can also do is just, if I click here, I believe we will see all the questions as in the preview. So we can do a student preview or a teacher preview. Can do the teacher preview for what we're doing here. You can decide things like to show one question at a time or all of the question. I think by default, the teacher preview shows all of the questions. But for, you can decide if you want the students to have the same view, or, go one question at a time. And you can decide that on all types of different assignments that you give. So this is an example of multiple choice question. Again, a lot of these questions are very silly, and I think they kind of make sense, but I don't remember them all. But so here, this is for the instructor, so it shows the key. If you were not sure, here. But this is not something that students would see. But this is also very handy sometimes, if you are in office hour with a student and they're, I mean, on something like this, you would quickly find, and also it's multiple choice, but sometimes they may have a numerical answer. You can check sort of like very quick, like, oh, you're off by a factor of 10. So it can indicate like, oh, this is maybe something wrong with your conversion of units or something like that. Without, sometimes it's harder to spot. So just seeing comparing their value with the answer can be a nice way to address questions very quickly. This is multiple answer questions, so you can pick, all of the, sort of one of those questions which like all of those that would all answer that apply or sorry, it's like Friday and it's been a long week. But there would be multiple answers possible for this one. I don't want to quiz you right now, but you can try to guess and I can show you the answers. This is so sometimes we have these questions, at least for physics matching questions, and it can be tricky to do. So this is one way you can do this by like saying, okay, picking which one was which. And I can also show you what I'm gonna just put random. I'm not looking at and then submit. And so you can see the score that I got. So this is sort of what it looks like in terms of the feedback you get. You can see that for this one, we point to OpenStax. I think for one of the other questions, there is a video instead, but we'll see when we get to that. This is numerical answers, but that have so those are called multi-part questions. This was something that we really struggled with when we were trying to use Canvas for our physics questions. Because Canvas was pretty good with like one question at a time. But I think for this one it would be okay. But if you had a multi-part question where one answer depending on the previous one, there was no way to really have that continuation. And this is something that MyOpenMath does very easily. All right. And so these are kind of the sort of the basic types of questions, because again, I mentioned you can draw vectors and stuff like that. I can also show you. And this is a question where you can post a video for, so question help, you can post a video. In this case, we're doing a calculation. You can also, for some questions, we had posted the detailed solution. So it could be like if you're using an assessment as a sort of a self, like, or a review or something like this, you can also post a more of a detailed. Oh, and this is a drawing question where you can actually draw vectors, which, to be honest, I did not, when we started doing this was beyond my expectations of what we would be able to do with this system. Yeah. So this shows you different types of questions. So including, drawing questions. If I go back, how you can group questions. If I show you the preview, this could be if you have a bank of questions and you want to generate different version. You could say, all right, so I have 3 questions that, will ask about unique conversions. And I want my test to pick one out of the 3. And so it will generate a different test every time. So this is what this assignment does. So it's again having this, I can show you in the questions. So you can see I have 6 questions here, and what's going to be generated is pick 4 out of the 6. And then choose one of this group. And I see I have a question about the
Question in the chat.
Mhm.
On the graphing question, can you have students draw more than one line, for example, supply and demand curves? So this would be for economics, for instance.
I believe so. Let me go back and see what we can do here. So, I mean, these are vectors. I think you can draw things that are more complex. I believe you can. but I need to check in more. So these are some of the more advanced ones, but I think you can. But I need to check about this one. It's a very good question though. But I think at least for this one, it looks like it's only one, because if I try, I'm only allowed to modify this one. But I'm guessing it's just the way that it was coded. And so I think we can build another one that we could add on. So I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. But this is not a good example of that. So I would need to look into it in more details.
Okay. Thank you. That was really wondering about the graphs because we use quite a few graphs, obviously, in economics, and so a lot of my assignments I would like to build like graphical analysis questions. So this would be kind of the core part of what I would want to do.
One thing that I've done more recently is actually integrate MyOpenMath into our labs, where student takes data and then can do an analysis on that data. And so I could also pull that in some of the future sessions, so we can look at what that looks like more, and that could be something that's more useful for your needs.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
And that's great because then I can so I think I put some of so this was an example, and I don't know why there's a copy. But no, I'm like, I think this one is a bit long. So it may not be the best user assignment right now, but and I also don't remember if we're graphing directly. But these are some of the things that, we could put in measurements and then create data just to give you an idea. But again, like we could look at your specific needs and see what, how we can, we could develop that and see.
Another question in the chat is, can you use spreadsheets as well?
So, what we did for this, so, we were still using, so let's see. I think we were still using an outside spreadsheet, but essentially, and you can see also for our graphing, because we could do more things outside of this. So, we could still collect data and but I don't think that there's a really good tool in terms of integrating a spreadsheet, but I can look into that more.
So could you add add in like a spreadsheet within the question, so students have like the spreadsheet, because it kind of looks like there is one, and then can they upload their completed spreadsheet in case you want to see their equations?
That's what we were doing, where like essentially they had to share a link to their spreadsheet here, but yes. So that was our way to sort of support that, so that we could see kind of both, where they would answer questions, but still show us their whole spreadsheet here.
Do you know if it's, and this all, sorry, Lilia, this is more my question now. Is it just a URL link, or can they actually attach like a tangible attachment file?
You can attach things as well. So if you want, yeah, you can upload. I'm pretty sure that we've done this. I think it was just easier for us to do a link, but I'm pretty sure you can upload things as well. And I can double check. So these are great questions, because usually, so I love these questions, because then I'm like, oh, I haven't tried this yet. So I'll look into that. I'm making notes.
And we do have the chat, so the questions are in the chat as well.
Emily, I have a question. Can you hear me? I don't know what.
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh, my name is Unja. I teach accounting. So I'm very interested in getting to know this Excel thing. But then I look at some of your the question, and I noticed you used OpenStax, and I know they have a lot of questions. Can we just copy and paste it and create it in OpenMath and give the proper credit?
Yes, so actually, for the questions that we have, so if you look at this, these are the essentially from OpenStax for college physics, and we've essentially, yeah, so and that was through the work of the ASCCCOERI grant, because it still takes a lot of time to enter all the questions in the platform, but yes. You can.
And then my question, okay, so that's really good news. But then I like to go and change, let's say there are 7 numbers. I wanted to change maybe 1 or 2, like variances. So the formula itself will be able to calculate different numbers from.
Yes.
Can we do that too? Like algorithmically have different numbers because I just changed the sum numbers there in the exactly the same format.
So I'm not sure I'm completely following, but let's see. So you want to add a number, or because
No. So let's say there are 5 numbers. Like can we deal with a lot of numbers, right? So instead of having the same numbers for everyone, maybe 2 out of 5 or 2 out of 10 numbers, I just use different numbers. I don't know whether they have settings where we can change it, but the formula itself is the same.
Yeah.
So it depends on what numbers they get. They have a different output.
So this is a randomized number, for
Okay,
example.
109 is randomized. Okay.
And
So
you-
each student get the different questions when they see this exactly same question. Am I right?
Correct. And you
Okay,
can pick
got it.
as you want to randomize, because for example, for us, there are numbers that are sort of set, like the density of something,
Mhm.
like the volume of something that would be different. And then so you can absolutely randomize like any of the numbers in the question. Absolutely.
Okay, that's totally. That's really good news because I'm gonna copy the questions from OpenStax, but I don't want to really copy. But then format is exactly the same, but I just want to change the numbers. So make sure students get the different numbers.
And then we've made it too so that so we can look at when we're looking at how you enter a question, things like you can give a range of like pick a number between 6 and 7 with so many decimals, and then you can also accept for the answer, if you expect that students will be rounding or not, like what's the
The range of the error. I think we have a very similar one that I've seen it from our Canvas quiz to formula question or something like that they call.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for your question. And yes, I think the OpenStax questions, a lot of them then get put into ADAPT. I just haven't used ADAPT very much. I want to make sure we have enough time for Christina. So I don't know if this would be a good time to stop.
Yes, I was going to say, if there are any last or other questions that come to mind, please make sure to identify those in the Google form. This will help our facilitators make sure that they are addressing those topics at the application training. So for MyOpenMath, that would be scheduled for May 9th, and it will be from 1 to 3. Please make sure to request for your accounts for MyOpenMath. It does have it's 3-pronged questions, but they are multiple choice drop downs, and they will send you an email letting you know that it will take them some time to create your faculty profile, because they want to essentially vet to make sure that you are a faculty and not a student pretending like you are a faculty. All right. Well, thank you, Emily, and I hope you and your students do really well at your
Thank you so
proposals.
much. It was, and I dropped my email in the chat if anybody has any questions before our next session. So thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. So the next person we have up is Christina Moon. She will go over H5P, and I've attended numerous sessions with Christina on H5P, and there's always something new to be learned. So thank you, Christina.
Thank you. And it was great to learn a little bit about MyOpenMath because we're going in a whole different direction. The H5P stuff in that sense is a lot easier. But before I start, I wanted to show that somebody was asking about the OpenStack. You can find all the OpenStack questions already in ADAPT. We did ADAPT, was it 2 weeks ago? And I believe it's this one, the accounting one. If you go in there, so you don't actually have to do anything. They are all in there. It tells you the number of questions. So you can start using this like right now and launch it. And then you'll see the, I don't know if these are the questions that you were looking at. Are these
Christina,
the
this
ones?
is great. Actually, we have looked at it before. I think,
Okay.
but I
Are these
think,
the ones?
yeah, I think if we had more specific questions, like a randomize the numbers. So
Right.
these are like a fixed questions, so we can use
Correct.
it from here. But then
You
we
can
like
use it. You can use it as it is right
Right,
now, but you
right.
cannot change it since they are not. I don't know if you're able to. How it works is you cannot touch the original since you're not the original owner of anything. Same thing goes with H5P or anything that you create, but you can clone it. And once you do that, then it becomes your version, so you can make changes. I don't know if it works the same with these OpenStack questions because they were not created here, right? They are just imported into here. But I just wanted to pinpoint that there are all these questions that go with the book. This is the OpenStack Financial Accounting, and you can find, a bunch of other ones. If you go to the dashboard, if you go to the dashboard, you can go to Commons or Public Courses, but then find Discipline, and they should be all in here. You can preview, and then if you like it, you just import it and start assigning them as you wish.
This is great. Thank you. I'm very happy to see what you're just sharing with me.
Yeah, so you don't have to copy. So when you say, oh, you don't have to, unless you really want to do that, they're already
Yeah.
there. So you can start using them right now.
Mhm.
Another thing, again, it's not H5P, but I do want to pinpoint this new thing that LibreTexts has incorporated into the Libreverse called Forge. It will have the capability of adding spreadsheets. And I was told that I don't know how to use it, so don't quote me, but the fact that it will really work well for disciplines like accounting that need a lot of like tables and spreadsheets and stuff like that. And I know that there will be more training coming in. Right now they're trying to incorporate it. The idea is that once you do that, you will be able to have students collaborate as well as upload their spreadsheets. Oh, it's kind of stuck. And then this will connect with ADAPT. So again, if you have the LTI or API with ADAPT, which your district has, it will be able to, the students do it, and then the grade will show up. It also has this AI capability in the back where you'll be able to track the analytics, where you'll be able to see how much things were copy paste. So like an English paper. So if you have students copy pasting a bunch of chunks of stuff from other places, you'll be able to see this analytic kind of. So
And
again.
Christina, there is a question in the chat. Just for clarification, are you implying that we will not be adding accounting questions? We will not be able to add accounting questions to Canvas by copying and pasting them, such as using a tool QLT, and that we would connect ADAPT instead?
Maybe I don't understand the question.
Can I answer that
Copy-paste.
question?
Yeah, I mean, if you If you don't mind, I'll clarify. I'll clarify it if you don't mind. Hi there, Christina. This is
Hi.
Lolita. So my
Hi.
question is, are you actually saying that, because what I do currently, I am taking those questions from that exact same spot you talked about.
The accounting?
Yeah, and I am dropping them in an Excel spreadsheet, doing it, and then I upload it through QLT. So in Canvas, they become copied into Canvas through the QLT aspect. Are you saying that we really shouldn't be doing that because that's a lot of work, or that we should actually be connecting Adapt somehow, linking it to Canvas instead? Is that what you're saying?
If you like doing it like that, this you can, like I said before, you can start using this like right now. I could go ahead and create a course. I could call it Accounting 101. I create a course, import the entire stack of questions, and start using it like right now without
And
you
then,
having to do anything, pretty much, because your district has the linkage already, the API. It will, anything that it's, let's say this is the accounting course with all those, modules, chapters, and activities. This will duplicate in your Canvas, and you just start using it. All those questions, and start
all
deleting
those,
what you don't want.
okay, so that would be awesome. But how do we do that? And I know that that's not what this class is all about right now.
Oh,
But
I know.
Lolita, I
I-
can help you. I have done it before.
you done it for, okay, thank you, NG. God bless you.
I just,
All right.
you're welcome, but I'm just happy to hear from Christina that they added all this. So it will make our life even easier. And also, thank you for letting us know about the Verge. I just need to figure out when they're going to have a training. So
Yes.
Lolita, you and I will attend.
It is happening. I need to attend that too because I need to learn how to use it. But what I saw and what the potential is, I think is huge, not only for, language classes like myself where you have, students writing paragraphs and I don't want students to copy paste stuff, but also the capability of having spreadsheets, which I know that my accounting people and econ people really want. But yes, you don't have to do any extra work, Lolita, unless you really want to, but you can start just, and I would
No, I
suggest
don't.
start
I
using it.
don't.
Yeah, use it. And then from there, if you feel like some of those activities don't work or you want to create new ones, then you can do it. But yes, you can start importing or import the entire thing or import whatever you need. And then the linkage will happen with your once you identify the course, your Canvas course, it will match up with the course, and these will show up as assignments in Canvas.
Okay,
So
thank you.
I know it's not we're going a little off different direction, but I did wanted to show that you don't have to create new activities or copy paste stuff from OpenStack, especially OpenStack, because I know that they brought in pretty much everything that is there, not only just for accounting, but all the other ones too. If there are questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. And yes, now we can go ahead and start the H5P and Libre Studio. So just to find out, anybody has heard of H5P, has used H5P, or this is like totally new? Has anybody seen it before? Okay, good. This is how I started when before ADAPT existed. So there are pluses and minuses about H5P. H5P lives in Libre Studio. Remember when I showed you the LibreVerse? It's one of, actually it's the first one of the icons that you see, and it lives in there with the rest of the ADAPT and the Forge that I just showed you. And there are actually, let me show you in action. I have some examples. So this one is a chemistry one. It's integrated in a book. So this is in LibreTexts. And obviously I'm gonna get it all wrong, but this is the nice thing about having this integrated in a book. you could have students click through it, get a quick self-check, let's put it that way, of what was covered on that page. And then depending on the activity, it could be a good way to get that kind of, check understanding. And then, you can have different things in there. So this is a different type of H5P activity. I also had, where did it go? There's an ESL one and they have a Spanish one. But the point is that you can have it embedded in a page. You can just grab the embed code from the activity, and this you can even put it in a Canvas page, which I actually do. Sometimes if I find activities that I want students to practice on my lecture, I have my video lecture, and then I want a quick self-check, I would embed this code in the actual Canvas page, and students will be able to click it and move on. Now, the scores, if there are any scores that come up, will not be counted, obviously, because this is not a formative, it is more a formative rather than a summative assessment. So it is more for them to get a quick understanding of the material. So going back to this. I'm not going to go over exactly what the technical terminology of H5P is, but it lets you, it has the potential of creating activities that could be used in multiple ways. And if you go to h5p.org, there is more information and also a bunch of different types of H5P. So this is where a lot of people get really excited about, right? Because you see there are more than 50 types of activities, and they're coming up with new ones all the time. So if you go to h5p.org and you can see examples, you will see this very colorful looking things. Don't get too excited, because I'm going to have to tell you the bad news about these, because all the fun ones have a big giant problem. So this is the problem. The fact that a lot of these, many of these, most of them are not accessible. So this is a quick chart of the 50 that were looked at, and only 5 are green, meaning that are usable with best practices, and the rest are not. Half of them are usable with workarounds, and I'll go over about what that means. But 17 of those are red, meaning that they do not meet, even with workarounds, will not work. So if you are going to use this, you have to understand what that means and how to remedy that if you really want to use it. There is an accessibility report that you want to take a look at, and I'll put it on the chat. Because this is what our team found that after we completed our first OER project 5 years ago, that many of these, the ones that we really wanted to use, were not accessible. So we were stuck. We got lucky that accessibility expert was assigned to us to help us navigate this. We had to redo some of the things that didn't meet the requirements. And so it was, we learned the hard lesson of what not to do. So other considerations if you're using H5P, the nice thing that happened when ADAPT came on board, was it 2.5 years ago, was that these H5P activities that are created, that everybody's creating, will show up in ADAPT. Remember the ADAPT system, the homework system, has the native questions, the ones that we worked on 2 weeks ago, right, where you created native questions. But these H5P questions would also come in ADAPT, so you could actually use them. But you have to understand that some of these question types are not will not work in ADAPT for collecting points, let's say. So if you're using H5P questions in ADAPT as summative assessments, you will need to consider that some of these questions that are called compound activities will not work and the points will not be able to be collected. You can see this one here is called question set. It's one of these compound activities. Does anybody know? This is a little test. Why this activity is a problem in ADAPT? Remember ADAPT wanting students to complete and getting points for this activity. Does anybody know? The key is these little dots here will tell you the problem. A compound set is a group of questions. A group of questions that were kind of compiled into one. And the problem is that this check, where you click and then you get the right or wrong, and then you get a point for completing that, is in each one of these dots, right? Because it's a set of 5 questions in this case. It would only take the points from the first check, not the other ones. So in order for this to work, you would have to break this question into 5 separate questions. So in ADAPT, it will be one slide, basically. One slide per question, so the points are distributed that direction. So it is a problem if you're bringing in activities that were considered compound activities. And but if you don't care about using it in ADAPT, you can go ahead and create compound questions. And those are cool if you are using it in the book and you want multiple, because if not, imagine this is a multiple choice or true false. You would have to have five of these, going down this direction instead of, kind of like a slideshow, which is like this in this case. So just thinking about the type of options, next week we're going to actually go ahead and create some of these activities, and hopefully you can start using them right away. But I want you to understand not only the accessibility point of view, but some of these questions also don't work if you want to use it as part of your homework. So in LibreStudio, I think let's see if I have. There are 23,000 activities already there, about 750 plus authors that are creating this like all the time, and we can actually go ahead and look at it. From there, these activities that you can create from scratch, but you have the capability of remixing. You copy an activity that you like, but you change something. So the idea of remixing, and then the idea that you can share this, either through the embed code, or you can also download the activity and upload it. And do all kinds of cool things. So that was one of the things that we really liked about H5P, and it is actually quite easy to use. You don't even need much of any training. You can clone activities or copy them and keep the settings the same and create multiple type of activities. So if you go to LibreStudio, so LibreStudio, it's where you go? It's right here. So we have ADAPT. If you go to the LibreVerse, LibreStudio is right there. In Studio, so right now there are 23,132 activities, and you can see the last person created one activity. This one is actually a new one I have never seen. I was very curious what it does. It's definitely a new type of activity. Maybe they're testing it. It's called Game Map. I tried to clicking on this. It doesn't. So I have no idea how that works. But this is part of the exciting part. It is an open source, so there are all these coders out there creating new type of questions that are very flashy and interactive in many ways. But again, a lot of these fun ones have an issue with accessibility. Most of them, I would say. I do want to show. I was looking into accounting, so you can do search by subject, and I'm gonna do just since we were talking about accounting. There are and here I chose this one because it has a branching scenario one. So again, there are fun things that you can do, and obviously I got it all wrong. You can, again, copy this iframe if you like this activity and plug it in your Canvas page and start like testing it now if you want. I do that. I do these type of activities in pages in my Canvas site, not only just below like a lecture video, but also for extra practice before an exam. If I want students to do this quick review right before they click on the exam, I have them do it. It's totally optional. There are no points involved. They could just do a quick, really fast check. Like if they need to review the conjugations, for example. I create a page with a bunch of these activities, and then they could just practice it right before they open the exam. Another one that I saw that was here. This one. You can also create virtual type of activities. Kind of like, they have this for like open houses when you go see virtual open houses. And I did test this a while back, but you can also create activities within, you could, instead of having these QR codes or these images embedded, they could be questions. Like click on this and it could be a multiple choice question. And things pretty cool. Then drag the words. This one is definitely not accessible. It's one of the red ones. And yeah, it really hurt when we found out that this wasn't gonna work and we were told we couldn't use them. There is, it's not technically a workaround, but in ADAPT, if you decide to use this activity in ADAPT, you could have an alternative activity deployed that will be accessible. For example, you can keep this for your 99% of your students that will be able to use this activity, but for the, let's say 1% of the student that will require an alternative activity, in ADAPT, you can have a secondary option where a student that has been flagged needing accommodations will be given that accessible activity, that version of that activity. So it's a nice way to still use these fun activities, but have still meeting accessibility requirements. So going back. Any questions about the different type of activities?
Christina, thank
Yeah.
you. Just try to understand, because this is not my first time that I hear, but let me just try to understand. So adapt, we need to have this code to connect to the Canvas, so it can be a homework system, it can be quiz, so it can be a summative assessment. On the other hand, H5P, once we embed in our Canvas, it can be like a formative we can use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So
great.
yes, so in it, you can do a search in, I know that but it's a great question, right? Because I think the possibilities of how you want to use these activities are not only the homework way, which is using it in ADAPT, and you can do a search. Like I could just do a search of H5P activities. And they should almost match up with the 23,000 that were over there, that are here. They actually should be the same, but you can start using them. So these are H5P questions that live technically in Studio, but they're here, right? So I could add it to my folder of homework activities. You know, I could include some of the OpenStacks, for example, that you had. I could have H5P. So it could be like a mixture of different type of platforms into one, right? Some could be coming from native questions that you created natively in here. I could have an H5P question. I could have the OpenStack that I brought in. And students will not know the difference. They all are part of the same assignment that you are giving them.
Mhm.
So this is the power of ADAPT. Most systems will not let you play with other systems. You're stuck with that system and that's all you can use. They don't let you, like, you know, unless you do the importing and do all this, you know, things. Here, there, you just have to pick and choose which ones you want. Like you know, you go to a supermarket and you go different aisles. I did this analogy before. Let's see if it works. So I go to the supermarket. So instead of being stuck with one aisle, think about going to all the different aisles and putting it all in one shopping cart. So your shopping cart is your assignment. And you can have all the different, you know, produce from different areas, and then they will all play nicely because they all check out and give you the same, you know, point value that you want to be assigned. Now, if this is not the way you want to use it for points, then H5P gives you the option to just grab the embed code, right?
Mhm.
Literally, you can just copy this and open a Canvas page, go to HTML and just plug it in there, and you will see it. It will just show up exactly like this box. And you can have like a series of them, one after the other. You could have them in separate pages. So it is more like a resource. It doesn't count towards anything. You could have, you know, like I said, I could have like my video and then activity right below, or you can use it if you're working on a book, be part of your book. You know, it's kind of part of the book that you are creating embedded in here. So you can see this is a compound activity. Like this will not work in ADAPT if you want to collect points. Because the moment that you have these multiple checks, that's kind of like the clue. It's one activity. It's not three activities. If you embed this into a page, you will see what I mean. There are three questions into one. And anything that has clicks like that also have issues. So it's good to know. But if you don't care about the points, go ahead and start using that as it is. Any other questions? If you go to the library, you can search exactly, you know, by subjects. Another way to look at it is by collection. So the collections are around different projects. So this one is the microbiology project from San Francisco City College. They're working on, I think they were almost done with this project. So if you're looking for a collection around, instead of just random questions, this one will follow, yeah, so there are different chapters like microbiology introduction. So you could actually grab this and start using it as a collection instead of just one random question. Let me see. Yeah, so that's what I had. So you could do searches within the library, the collections, by subject, by type. If you're looking just for, I don't know, branching scenario questions, you can just click on that and that will give you just the type. You can start bookmarking it. So that's another way. You can bookmark from the library also. You can click on that. That will add it to your favorites. So they will just go into this favorite folder. And yeah, so this is the same thing I was showing. You can, all the activities should have this embed icon at the bottom. So you grab any, wow, Ying has been very busy. They're all, maybe this one. Oh, so this one too. You can grab the embed code and paste it into a page. So it will look like that. You will just grab it and then copy it into a Canvas page, which is like that, and then it will show up like that. If you want to embed into a LibreText page, what happens is you will get this ID, which is the H5P ID, and then insert that ID number into your page via like an element. So we'll go over those steps next week, but the options in terms of how you want to use these activities are there. So I have some activities that you can check out. I think that's what I had here. So this is a memory game, like a matching with actual sound. So you will actually match it with the image. That was the crossword puzzle. This one is sort the paragraph. Sort the paragraph, for example, if you wanted to have certain order of things, the students could use the arrows to move. This is considered an activity with workarounds. It works with workarounds, meaning that you can still use it. It passes accessibility as long as you explain what the students need to do. So that is kind of like the workaround instructions. You just have to tell them that they will either need to use the arrows on the side to change the order, or drag and drop type of, they change the order, and I got them all wrong. Let me see. That. Also, you can upload activities if you bring it from other places, and that part I could also show you. So it's not just in H5 in Studio that you can find activities. You can find it in other places, like eCampus Ontario had. I could put it on the chat. They also, this is kind of like their studio version of it. They don't have as many as a studio, but you might be able to find some other things there where you can go ahead and check out the activity. I need to log in. They have logged it in. That is different. It used to be open. No, this one is open. Okay. So for example, if I like this video, then I could embed that, but I could also download this and bring it in, and the same way that you can bring in activities from other places and import and export. It gives you that option to do that. So if I click on that, it will download, and then I would upload it into my my account, and then I could remix it if I want to. Also Pressbook, I'll put that in there too. So this one, especially if you're using a Pressbook book, and if you're lucky that some of these Pressbook books have activities, then you can find them in there. And this one probably doesn't have as many. Merlot. Oops. Is that it? Yeah, I think so. That was a very long URL. So for next week, the idea is for you to have a, kind of, now that you know a little bit about the pluses and minuses of H5P, next week we'll learn how to clone activities, edit them, create new ones, and also how to actually embed them in Canvas or in LibreText pages, and as well as this last one, which gives you the option of still using these activities that are considered not accessible, but using this alley, I think that's how you say it, option for non-accessible activities that you can use and pair up with those activities, so you can give an alternative to the student that will require an accessible activity. So that's all I have. Are there any questions of H5P potentials? What you would like to see next week also? I think that's part of the survey form, right?
Correct, it will be. So I'm just posting into the chat if there are, too much text. Okay, let me read.
Yeah, that was I didn't realize that the Merlot one had such a long URL.
Okay. So for folks who are interested in learning more about LibreTexts Studio as well as H5P, please make sure to fill out the forms that is posted in the chat. So our OERI leads will be giving those to our facilitators so they have a better idea of how to center their training. So the coming up trainings we have on May 2nd, LibreTexts Studio and H5P. Christina, I'm assuming that is going to be you.
Mhm.
It is scheduled for
My
May.
last one.
Yeah, we're almost at the end of the series. So please make sure before that point, if you haven't already done so, that you already have a LibreVerse account as a faculty. Otherwise, it's going to be challenging if you're trying to walk through the process with Christina. From my experience, it takes about 48 hours to get an account set up with them. So please make sure to check your emails when you request for one, because they are going to send you a link to confirm. Because if you don't confirm, you will not get an account. Learn that the hard way.
Yep. And you have to do it within the what is it, 48 hours or something.
48 hours. Yeah,
Mhm.
because I missed mine
And then you have to do it again.
yes. So, and at any point, if you have any questions between now and the next training session, please reach out to any of the faculty OER leads at the campus. Our email addresses are on the chat as well, and our names. If there aren't any questions, we have 1 more minute left.
Unji, I have a question. Okay, so before I came to the training, I thought I would use my whatever, I
MyOpenMath.
can't even remember, mom, for
Uh-huh.
my accounting. And I hear Christina, I said, maybe I need to stay with the H5P or whatever the Forge they call. So now I have a question. Can we use these both in our Canvas? Can we make it like links to those two at the same time?
I think in terms of technically, yes. Whether you want to do it having multiple systems, I don't know. Just for your own sanity. I don't know if you want to do
No,
that.
actually,
but-
that's my question, Christina. Now, like I thought I'm gonna, because we needed Excel. Loretta and I, we both teach accounting, we need Excel, but then we didn't have it the way we wanted it. So we're gonna stay with the math, mom. But then now you're telling me Forge has this Excel function, then maybe we stay with so I don't want to have two systems because it's too much headache. I wanted to have one system, but then we're just looking for Excel because that's something that we need.
Okay. Let me let me bug Delmar, find out how, like, what's the timeline for this Forge thing to be, because they're gonna add also a rubric into this Forge where you're gonna be able to use that for grading. He's been the only one that used it for his chemistry lab last semester. That's what he told me. But I don't think anybody else has used it. But the potential is great. But I did wanted to ask Emily before she left, but whether any, because we know that MyOpenMath has been used for math and now, a lot of the science courses, but anything outside of that, like how have they used it for accounting? Are there examples? That would be interesting to see, because if other people have started using them, then you can see what they've done. But if not, there might be a reason why they haven't.
They have a one course, Christina, but I don't think it
For
necessarily
accounting?
was all tied. Yeah, they had only one course. That's when I look at it, I was pretty impressed. But then I don't think it necessarily the way we wanted to use Excel.
Mhm.
But what they have done was fantastic because we can modify it, right? But at the same time, when you say, so, well, Forge, we can use Excel, then maybe we need to stay with the Forge because we need to, once we adopt it, we're going to stay there for a while. I'm not going to flip-flop. And I try to not to learn two systems. I just want to learn one, then I fully master. But then I need to know exactly what program can support what we are looking for.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't know how to use this, and I wanna. So maybe I'll at least give you some idea next week if you come on
Mhm.
what's the timeline on this port, where they are with this. It would help if LibreTexts is chosen to be our platform for the system, so they could get all the funding they need to do all these cool things, because all this development costs a lot of money. And the fact that we were giving all this money, no platform was assigned, and everybody kind of all on their own figuring out. I mean, by default it's LibreTexts, but they haven't. Yeah. So at least I will try to get you a timeline. Let's put it
Okay,
that way.
great. I will be there. So at
Okay.
least I will get an idea. Thank you.
Well, we are about 3 minutes over, so I don't want to keep anybody, especially on this Friday, and it's cold outside, at least for us. If there are any questions, please reach out to Christina. She did provide the email in the chat. And then you also have the OERI leads information as well. So thank you again for being here on this Friday. I hope you guys learned a lot. I know I did for my math lab, and I always learn something cool about in any of Christina's presentation because it's constantly changing.
Yes.
So again, thank you so much for being here. Have a
Thank
good
you.
Friday. I will see you guys probably next Friday. Bye.
Bye.